that is a one and done. They'll pack up and head for the house. As we mentioned, Sweet Snow stuck the tire and
Alright guys, it's a little loud. There's a lot of fast cars going down the drag strip. The announcers talking in the background. But we're about to load up and head out. Everything went really smooth. Alex did have an issue with her drive shaft, but she ended up getting a new one. And she ran a 7 rather than a 6. But she did complete sick week. So that's always a plus. But me and Tom already loaded the trailer up, which you saw in the video, and we're about to make this 16-hour drive home. We're going to try to rotate and get there as quick as we can because it's a drive, and we have to be rested and ready to work on Monday. So hopefully we're not tired by the time Monday rolls around, because we do have more work to do in the shop, and we're going to start doing more race car stuff. So Tom's going to get a checklist together, and we're going to go through everything and see what we can get for his car, and start fabricating everything for the twins. And then I got to get the freeze plug fixed on my blue car, and we're probably going to turbo Hank. But there's a lot going on. We're going to get back to the truck and start our journey home. That's a wrap. So this isn't Tom's first sick week event, but it's his third. This is my first. So hopefully the wind wasn't too loud outside. This is my first event doing the sick ward drive, and I definitely will be back. It was a blast. Next year I'm going to be bringing my car, as long as we don't blow anything up right before, I guess. But Tom will be here next year, Tom's got a friend that'll probably come with him, and then I don't know if I'll be bringing Zach with me next year. We just got to see how things play out. But as far as right now goes, I definitely plan on coming back. So that's a wrap. We're going to make this 16-hour drive home and then back to work. Tom's over there. Oh, there he is. Tom's over there on the computer doing video stuff for YouTube. So we're going to do an overview on his car. I remember like 95% of the stuff on his car. So I should be able to if I can talk, I should be able to do a pretty good overview of the build and run you guys through everything. So you have a good idea what's going on. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where the camera's at. Alright guys, this is Tom's car. This is a 1978 Chevy Caprice Classic. It is a B-body is what they're called, just because that's the platform, the body platform, just like they have the W-body, the G-body. This is a B-body. So this is a 4-door car. A lot of these came in 2-door. They were highly desirable. Not a whole lot of people took the 4 doors and really built them, except for the donk community. They tend to like the bigger body Chevys, or the box Chevys as they call them. Box Chevy. So there's his distribution box, catch can, transmission dipstick, the lines for the heater. This does have a heater in it. It doesn't have AC, but it does have a heater. We'll probably do like electric AC later. Power steering. It is a Hydro Boost, which Tom did all the conversion and everything to make it a Hydro Boost car. So it doesn't have a vacuum booster, because with these fancy valve covers, the vacuum booster will not clear the valve cover. So he did that. It does have the ICT bracket for the power steering pump, and it does have the ICT low mount bracket for like an F-body car for the alternator. So he did these, which I mentioned from the underside later, because I messed up and had my video on time-lapse and recorded a 12-minute long time-lapse video of me and Tom talking about the car earlier. But you couldn't hear it because it was a time lapse. So this is round 2. We're trying this again. So the bottom, the upper and the lower radiator hoses are completely stainless. Tom built all of this. This is a fuel cooler, Durrell fuel cooler, because last year at Sick Ward he had an issue with his fuel getting a little too warm. But the tank is vented now. It wasn't before. And it has a cooler, which has a little temperature probe here, and the controller is down here. It's all digital and it's in Celsius. It tells us basically what temperature the fuel is, and then it's already preset. What's it, 40 Celsius it kicks the fan on? Yeah, so at 40 degrees Celsius it kicks the fan on to cool the fuel down. So that's super cool. And then he's got all his lines all nice and neat right here for his power steering going to a steering box. So that's super cool. And the car is wrapped with his company name, which I'll stick somewhere up in one of the corners of the video. We'll do a link to his channel. He does all his stuff in German, so he'll be doing the same overview basically that I'm doing on the car, except in German. So if you guys are bilingual, or maybe you just want to listen to someone talk German for 15 minutes, then feel free. But here's the inside. Very nice soft door panels that Tom built. It's got the very nice clean Allen heads, and it's got the handles. The rears do not have handles because nobody really rides in the rear of this thing, but it does have a seat. It's kind of like a canvas sort of material. It's got a cover on it. And then the speakers back here do actually work. They're hooked up to a little tiny Bluetooth stereo up on the dash. I'll show you in a second. But these are the biggest seats that Kirky makes, because Tom is a large fella.
It's actually the biggest racing seat you can buy in the world.
Yeah, so pretty much the biggest racing seat you can get your hands on. This thing is wide. I mean, this is a thing of microfiber towels, and it fits down in there no problem. But we got the LED strips up here. They're unplugged right now because we've been fighting some kind of weird issue with the door jamb switch. So he does have, if I can get it off with one hand, there it is, removable steering wheel, which he likes to remember. He likes to forget to remember the steering wheel. And we got down from the hotel one day when we were in Florida, and he sits down and starts the car and then realized that the steering wheel was in the hotel room. But the wiper, this is a painless wiper switch. You can't buy the old switch, so he bought a painless and then basically designed this to work with this switch. So it's
aluminum plate wrapped in carbon fiber.
Super clean. Yeah. So all this is wrapped in carbon, which looks really good. And then his high beam switch is down here because the one that was on here was broken. So he went ahead and welded a little handle on here. So there's no high beam, only turn signal. The windows, yeah, sometimes. The windows, all the switches are right here for the power windows. It's got a TCI shifter. It's a Turbo 400 car. It's a full reverse manual valve body. And then here's all the switches for the heater. And then this one actually doesn't do anything. It was for his sprayer for his windshield sprayer, but we had to remove that when we put the fuel cooler in. So that one doesn't do anything anymore. This one is the horn, and then that one over there is for the ignition. And then this is the little Bluetooth radio I was telling you about that runs to the rear speakers and actually works pretty well for a cheap Amazon Bluetooth stereo. Phone charger, $9. It has a button so you can turn it on and off so you can charge your phone, and then that over there is for your computer so you can plug your laptop in and fiddle
USB,
with all your stuff.
Radio, like AM, FM radio, SD card, Bluetooth.
Yeah, it does everything. The car is on a Holly. It has this little screen tucked away right here, which if you weren't looking, you wouldn't even notice it. And then the bigger screen here shows us everything we need to know. He has the Dynamat up here to kind of help with the temperature and the noise. When you ship the car over, it had to have everything secured. So it has a plate. He built this little platform here, and it's secured very well. Basically, if anything's not like bolted down, it's not insured. It's just an insurance thing. So this had to be closed, had to be locked, had to be bolted down to this platform. And then he's got his battery disconnect right here. So basically you push this down and it locks down onto the battery. And that's how you give power to the car. And then he's got a light from, I don't know if you guys recognize, but 90s model Chevy trucks had that light over there. And it comes out, it's got a little wire on it. He's put an LED in it. And it's got a little wind up thing so you can roll it back in there. Big fancy. So that was a pretty smart idea. But it is back on a street tire. And I'm sure it'll go back onto a radial eventually. But as for now, we're still on the street tire. We haven't switched it back. We got a full shop. We get back and everybody brings us their junk. So we're fixing everybody's crap today apparently. We did get that F-250 out, so that was cool. And we got paid on it, so it's out of the shop, out of the way, so that we can put more stuff in here. Okay, so as we said before, here's the LS2. This is the lower radiator hose I was telling you about that's completely stainless. And then he's got the radiator, electric fans, poly bushings on the sway bar. Ignore the wetness under here. We had a leaking return line on the power steering. So he's got, these are sleeves, right?
Yeah, Pro-Forged aluminum
okay,
sleeves.
So Pro-Forged sleeves. And then his headers come down to here. They're V-banded, bellow. You can see the converter chilling up in there. We're probably going to end up putting a new pan on this. This is a Moroso pan, so nice and affordable. Just kidding. But because Arkansas's roads are garbage, and I don't know where the tax dollars go, but it's damn sure not the roads, we're going to probably have to put a new pan on it. It was actually fine before Arkansas. So, bellow, nice flex here. There's one on each side. Runs all the way back to an X-pipe. And then comes out and goes to these Spintech. These are just Summit Racing chambered mufflers. And so we got those welded up in there. And Tom's fancy hanger with its cool little bushing on it. And then those go over the axle and all the way out the back to another fancy little bushing hanger. So it's got true duals all the way out the back. Sounds pretty decent. It definitely gets attention because it's got a healthy cam in it, so it gets attention anyway. But Turbo 400 definitely putting in work. The guy said it should be good to about 800 horse. We're definitely going to see when we put twins on this thing if that's true or not. But you can see he's got nice AN lines for his cooler. And then here's the drain for the catch can. So I'll open that and put my mouth under it. But it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing too insanely crazy about the build yet. We are going to be obviously ditching the headers, and we're going to be building probably a forward-facing setup to get the turbos up front.
I mean, it's a little bit of a zombie parts-wise. So I mixed a lot of parts from different vehicles, different swap parts.
So how many cars are this? Or is this?
I think 4 or 5 or 6.
So there's like 4 or 5 different cars.
So that's an LS swap pen for an F body.
Right.
Like for a Firebird.
Yeah.
With additional clearance in the front for F bodies works good. Because the Caprice or GM swap pen was way too low.
Oh yeah.
So
you would have ripped it off already.
Yeah, so I used this. The alternator is from the 2001 Camaro. The power steering pump is from a 2000, I don't know,
Something.
GTO, I think.
And
The upper control arms is for second gen F
that's
body.
the ICT F-body low mount kit, right?
Yeah,
For the okay.
because this is Corvette spacing, so you need everything in Corvette
Oh,
spacing.
yeah, that's
So
right.
that's the reason why everything is tucked underneath
And this
here.
would be for your AC if you had it.
Yeah, and that's the reason why there is no AC compressor right now.
Yeah.
We'll probably use an electric one, and
Yeah.
also ditch the power steering pump and use a Volvo power steering pump, an electric one.
Here's this. He's got a hoop-de-hoop
From Stiflers.
from Stiflers. There's this fancy cross member holding the Turbo 400 in place.
Summit Racing.
Yeah. A-Tech is the way to go. Those guys are taking care of us. So, control arm, or trailing arm, I guess it'd be called.
Yeah, upper and lower control arms, rear control arms from UMI Performance.
So, UMI Performance, which, by the way, we're a dealer for UMI Performance.
So they provide the lower control arms, they provide the spacers for the sway bars.
And the uppers, which have nice spherical bushings up inside there, if you can see them. Those are super cool. Very nice. Gives you all the adjustment you need to get your pinion angle where you need it.
The cool thing is there are 2 different kits for the B-bodies. You have the stock one, like a stock length one I use. And if you lower these cars, or some of these models have problems with the wheel is not centered in the wheel well. Like,
Caster's wrong.
so they have, I think, 1 inch extended ones. So you can,
Oh, when you lower it, it changes the geometry, so it'll set it back.
So
I
sometimes,
gotcha.
but sometimes from factory, if you look on a factory vehicle, sometimes it looks wrong, you know. And if you lower it, it looks way more wrong,
Way wronger.
way wronger. So they have an extended kit, so it
Okay.
pushes the wheel to the right place.
Nice.
That's very neat.
Okay. So
And
you
they
can
also
see
have they also have brackets to. The problem here is right now they're going kind of uphill, and that's not very good for traction. So they have a relocation bracket. You bolt it on here with the stock hardware, then you weld it, and you just bolt that back in, and it goes downhill. So all the angles are way better for traction.
Ah. And there's Look 8 Performance on the gas tank.
Yeah, stock gas tank with a Holley retrofit fuel module and a big ass hydromat in it.
Oh yeah, he's got the hydromat in the tank, so that helps with any kind of fuel starvation or cavitation
this
or
was a
anything.
big problem when I first started this project, because I just had the fuel module is actually right here. So
If you take
low
off real
if you're low
hard-
on fuel and you take off,
Yeah.
fuel pressure, I lost fuel pressure.
Fuel
and,
goes whoosh.
and the only little hydromat was like right here.
Yeah.
And now the big hydromat is actually all the way.
I bet
in
that
here.
sucked getting in there. I bet it sucked getting in
Oh
there.
yeah, especially through the 3-inch hole where the Holley module is in it. Then
It was tight.
the problem is, so you have the fuel pump here, then you have an aluminum adapter with a dash fitting, and then you have the hydromat with a dash fitting. So you had to put the line in somehow and tighten everything in the gas tank. So it was a pain in the ass. Thank God my wife has really small hands.
Hey, get over here and help me.
Yep. And they're secured with little magnets right here. There's
Oh,
no
okay.
hydromat in there.
I got you.
Because
Tom likes his magnets.
steel tank.
Tom likes magnets. That's why there's magnets up here.
Yeah.
These things are beasts too.
That's spacer magnets for all kinds of stuff.
That thing will get you. But this is Tom's 78.
Oh, and the coilovers are from
Oh yeah.
QA1 coilovers from a Chevelle.
So this one
another
has.
car.
It also has Chevelle coilovers, which you can't really see up in there, but they're in there. So this thing's pretty much a Chevelle. But as everybody in Memphis kept calling it, this is Tom's box Chevy. Box Chevy. But it's a unit for sure. I'm excited to see this thing on boost.
Or grandma car, yeah.
Oh, let's do a bonus thing. All right, Tom, what's the story on the suitcase?
I already had this stroker crank in my shop overseas in Austria, and my buddy last year brought me the rods, like Kelly's rods. My wife brought me the Wiseco pistons, and then I asked my mom last year. She came over for Christmas, and I asked her, "Hey, can you bring me my crankshaft?" So my buddy took the crankshaft out of my storage in my old shop, and he built kind of a suitcase transporting device thing with all kinds of stuff, and so she brought over my stroker crank in a freaking suitcase, and nobody gave a shit on any airport.
So this thing, there's a weight restriction when you're bringing stuff on the plane. There's a weight restriction. This thing was like what?
Slightly over the rate.
It was like
the weight.
1.5 or 2 kilos too heavy.
Not even.
It was
that. I think it was
very
like
little.
35 point something kilos, and she told me she only can board that on a plane if it's 34 point something.
999. Yeah. So this thing was like basically less than a kilo too heavy to get onto the plane.
Yeah. So my buddy, who brought my mom to the airport with the suitcase, helping her because it's freaking heavy, he started to break off parts from the suitcase, like the plastic stands and parts of the handle and all kinds of stuff. So they made it to 34.95, I think. So she said, "Okay, you're good now." She still paid like $90,
Dang.
like overweight fee, but shipping that thing would be way more expensive.
Yeah.
So we don't give a shit.
And risking it getting damaged or lost, because this is a expensive unit.
Yeah.
But this is the Callie's crank that's going to be going in the 408. He's got his rods and pistons over there. We won't tear into those because everybody's seen rods and pistons. But I wanted to show you all the crank and tell you the story on his mom bringing it over from Austria and how it got here. So it barely made it. It was almost too heavy for the plane, but they made it happen. And you can see where they ripped off parts of the suitcase to make it light enough to go on the plane. So that was a pretty interesting story, I thought. And she showed up with this big suitcase. Tom's car, you guys have any questions, obviously hit the comments. I think I covered everything. There's not a whole lot going on. It's a pretty plain Jane setup. It just works. It's a good build. Proportioning valve, line lock, fuel filter there, right there on the fuel line, and then the regulators back there. There's not a whole lot going on.
Big 102 mil Motion Raceworks. Big 102 mil Motion Raceworks throttle body.
Yeah, he got a
Works very good.
Motion Raceworks throttle body on here. He's very proud of that.
Yeah, because it works. And it doesn't make weird noises like my Chinese one.
Wow, I don't know what this thing's doing. All right, LS2 Caprice, box Chevy.
Not on 24.
Not on 24s or 26s. It's on reasonable wheels and tires. But it runs great. We drove, it was over 800 miles we drove through Florida, and it didn't give us any trouble.
Dual valve springs, stock LS2 injectors.
Oh yeah, and it's a 28 3000 stall converter. It's not quite tall enough for how big the car is, but he got it for a bargain, so he went ahead and used it. So we're making it work. We'll definitely go with a tighter converter. Converter seems to work pretty well. It definitely has a decent slip rate on it. You can feel it, but once the car goes turbo, it'll get a tighter converter with a little bit taller stall, and it should work fine. So that's pretty much the overview of Tom's Caprice. It's filthy right now. Just ignore how dirty it is. It just went 800 miles through Florida and then back here on a trailer, and it started raining, so it's dirty. But Tom's video just uploaded, so go check out his video. I'll put the link in the corner of the video so you guys can go check it out.